Morning. Jurgen Klopp is officially leaving Liverpool after 9 seasons. He'll be leaving this summer. They are currently, today, they beat Norwich 5-2 in the FA Cup. They move on to the next round, the 5th round. The news broke for some reason. When I heard the news at 8 a.m. Friday morning Eastern time, I thought, you know what? This isn't a surprise, actually. I feel like for some reason this has been coming. He was a little bit stagnant on signing his last contract. In the last several months, he's mentioned a couple things. It was not a big surprise. Automatically, people go to who's next, what's going on. Before we get to who's next, I think we should at least acknowledge that Jurgen Klopp has done a phenomenal job at Liverpool. I think he needs praise for he gets and receives praise, and it's deservedly. From everywhere he's been. He was at Mainz. He left them after a couple of years. He moved to Dortmund. He left them after several years, bringing trophies. And he's gone to Liverpool, and he's brought trophies. We'll list off. We'll put that list together here in a second for you and list that. Listen, he doesn't get sacked. He transforms clubs and wins trophies for them. The interesting comments in the live interview he did on Friday morning after the pre-recorded notice came out, he did the live interview and he said, I will not be doing anything for the next year. I'm not going to be coaching. I'm going to take some time away. I'm just going to relax. I'm out of energy. I think I deserve a little bit of a break. And he does, right? He does. He's done everything he can do in the English Premier League game almost, so he does deserve a break. And then someone said, when will he come back and where will he come back? And he said, I will never come back to an English club. Now, silly of him to say never say never, because you never know what's going to happen. Who knows how much money can be thrown at him to get him back. But he did say he loves Liverpool. He'll never come back and coach in the Premiership unless it's for Liverpool. He will not be coaching another Premiership club. Interesting comments from the man there. As we discuss this, we'll list off everything he's won. So Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool won the Champions League in 2018-2019. He won the Premier League in 2019-2020. That was the first time they'd won it in over 30 years. They won the UEFA Super Cup. They won the FIFA Club World Cup. They won the Carabao Cup. They won the FA Cup. They won the Community Shield. He won pretty much everything there was to win. 9 seasons in charge, and he'll officially be done. Do you know that he only lost 40 so far, still has half a season to go? 44 league games were lost under Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool while he was in charge. Absolutely amazing, to be honest, that. Danny, Liverpool is your biggest rival with Man United, your club you support, but you got to show a little bit of respect. The man has done things the right way, and he's rebuilt Liverpool 2 or 3 times now. Your thoughts on Jurgen Klopp?
Yeah, I think, I think one of the greatest things between Manchester United and Liverpool fans is the fact that there is a mutual respect there, even though there's a hatred in terms of rivalry on the field or on the pitch. There's a mutual respect between the two organizations just because of what they've been through historically with trophies and success, and then also tragedies, right? I mean, they've been through a lot. I mean, they might say it's their biggest rival and they're hated, but I think there's a mutual respect there. I think that when you look at managers historically at Liverpool, and you point to Bill Shankly, who really started the revolution at Liverpool, and then moving on to that, from when Shankly stepped down, Bob Paisley stepped in there, and his boot room staff were just incredible. And then moving on from that, into Kenny Dalglish, was not only a player there, an incredible player and a legend for Liverpool Football Club, but also a great manager that won the league. Yeah. Won the FA Cup, did the double a couple of times. And then obviously Jurgen Klopp coming in has won, I think, 7 trophies over the course of his career, and the only one missing out on was the Europa League, which he has an opportunity to win this year. So I think we can definitely put him alongside those great managers that I've just mentioned there, at Liverpool. And it's interesting that he says he's tired. I think, it
was interesting, wasn't it?
It was, and I go backwards and forwards on it, and I think that the saltiness in me, because of the fact that, it is Liverpool, and the fact that we had arguably the greatest manager alive that's ever gone through, English football. that man, Sir Alex Ferguson, did it for 26 years straight, building team after team after team after team after team, and never once got into that situation where I'm tired.
Yeah.
So it was interesting wording. I don't know whether I don't know whether it means that he's achieved what he needed to achieve at Liverpool Football Club, and he almost said it in his big press conference, right? Where the fact that I'm not leaving the club when it's in disarray. You know, they've just pumped so much money into the AXA training ground. The stadium's just been rebuilt. The squad is young. He goes, I'm leaving it in the capable hands of somebody that can come in here and play good football. Maybe now it's time to just step away and take that sabbatical that he wants for a year, and you know, and then
reassess his life and do whatever he wants. Yeah,
you know,
it was interesting wording that he used. I've left it in good hands, capable hands here. I think, as we discussed in our group text, boys, this decision was made by Klopp and told to the owners probably a couple of weeks ago. They kept it quiet because, listen, it was the January transfer window. So if they're going after targets, the targets don't want to hear that, oh, hey, Jurgen Klopp's not going to be there. You don't have a manager who's going to be there. They don't want to hear that, right? Because they're not going to sign for you. So most likely this was made, his decision was made a couple of weeks, couple of months ago. He let the owners know the decision was held. Most likely that the video he put out where he says, I'm leaving, was done a couple of days ago. I think this also might invigorate that club. They're on a hell of a tear this season, by the way. They're playing phenomenal. I think it invigorates them, the players, and the club to really push forward. And I think they'll get more silverware by the end of this season. Who knows? Maybe they get the Premier League title and they're able to continue their... They were dominant today. They looked very dominant. I think based on this, I would even say the odds of them winning the Premiership goes up maybe a little bit more now.
There's always going to be a little... there's always going to be a little transitional period because it wasn't just him leaving; it was the entire backroom staff were going as well. You know, so Pep Linders and part of the backroom staff are also going as well. So, they're also taking that time off. And I think Pep Linders actually turned around and said that he wanted to pursue management on his own. So, from that respect, there's always going to be a transitional period. Now, the two biggest question marks for me are, number one, who are you going to bring in to replace a man of that stature, right, to keep the club going? And two, the manager that you bring in to replace a manager of that stature, the players, the top players that are left there, will that be deemed good enough to them?
Right. Yeah, they can't go out and get a small-time coach here who no one knows, right? And I think before we delve into that, Danny, I do want to give Brooks a second here. He's had his hand up at his table. Brooks, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, no, I compare this to, I like baseball. I haven't recently watched too much, but I like the idea of, when I was really heavy into baseball. Theo Epstein was the GM of the Red Sox, the Cubs, and he's won championships. He always had the rule of thumb of 10 years. That's all I have. Like, if I stay at more at 10, if I stay more than 10, what I'm doing isn't necessarily good for the club. There's a time where you have to move on at some point.
Sure.
And I think that's what Klopp is saying. And I kind of, what Danny was saying, I think this is the time when Klopp is like, I've won everything I needed to win. I've put the club in a good direction. Not that it was at a poor direction, but I've put them back on the top of the EPL, where we're always finishing top four and we're always competing for championships and league titles. And so I think this is a smart decision for him. Say, hey, I think it's time for someone else to take the helm with this club. And he just, if you see before and after photos, of when he started and when he is.
Oh, yeah, he's aged, hasn't he?
But you can tell, it's a toll on you when you're trying to win and compete and win something, all these cups and expectations of fans, and it wears on you. And he just needs to, I think it's a good decision for him to step away. And then I think, we've talked about a little before in our group text, is where's he going?
Right. Well, before we talk about where he's going, I do want to say, it's interesting. He leaves when he feels the time is right. He's never sacked. He leaves on good terms at clubs. The clubs and the The executives and the fans all love him. He leaves when he feels the time is right. But you're correct, Brooks. The picture of the day he signed on to become Liverpool's manager to today, he's aged.
You can tell the wrinkles under his eyes, and he's the beard.
A lot more gray, and it does that, right? But he's also at that age, right? He's
stressed,
in his 50s. Now, what something I explained to my wife earlier today. A lot of people don't know the amount of hours and pressure it takes to be a manager in the Premier League.
Yes.
Managers will work, and it's no joke, 70 to 80 plus hours a week in the Premiership. It's been noted before. There's several articles out there that you can go and read. They are workhorses. If you're not willing to put in the hours, you ain't cut out to be a Premiership manager. Danny, all right, let's get to it. I'll read you off the odds of who the next manager, right now, the betting odds for who the next manager of Liverpool is going to be. I bet you can guess who's number one, who has the best odds.
Xabi Alonso.
Xabi Alonso, correct.
Are you going to read the whole entire list?
I'll read you the couple that I think are right. Yeah. So Xabi Alonso, Roberto De Zerbi from Brighton, Zinedine Zidane, who's currently without a club, 17-2 that he'll be the next Liverpool manager. Julian Nagelsmann, by the way. Steven Gerrard. 11-1 odds. Ange Postecoglou. No way is Ange Postecoglou leaving Tottenham currently after what he's just done for Liverpool. So if you put money on Ange Postecoglou, I think you're wasting it. Carlo Ancelotti, who literally just signed a new contract last week to extend at Real Madrid. Ruben Amorim, Hansi Flick, Arne Slot, Diego Simeone. That actually is a name that popped up in my head when I heard this because he earns a ton of money at Atleti, but I think he may have taken this club as far as he can, and the next step is a Premiership club.
Yes.
I think Diego Simeone would be a decent... Now, I do not like his brand of football, I will say that. Also on the list, which I do not think will happen, interesting name though, Jose Mourinho. Jose Mourinho. He is currently out of a job. He's out he was sacked by Roma. Him and his whole backroom staff sacked 2 weeks ago by Roma. Interesting timing there. And I'll give you two more. Graham Potter is currently 25-1, and Luis Enrique is 25-1 as well. Then there's Thomas Frank. Actually, I'll put one more in there. Thomas Frank. I think that's a decent one. Oh, I'll throw one more name in there. I don't know what the hell he's on the list for. Probably just for bettors. James Milner. Not going to happen.
I'm surprised Xavi isn't on that list since he's going to get can.
Yeah, well,
not can, but he's going to leave.
Yeah, and that kind of leads us into Xavi leaving Barcelona, right? So we'll get to that a little bit longer, but I don't think this isn't the type of job for him. I can definitely see Xabi Alonso there, former Liverpool player. As we know, I can definitely see, this is going to sound bad, but I can actually see them reaching out and saying, we've got the right structure in place at a club. Steven Gerrard might be the man because of the legend he is. It wouldn't make any sense. I think he would take the club down the toilet because his coaching career has not been good.
He's going to leave Al Atifak for that?
Al Atifak,
Get the Al Atifak out of here.
As he just signed a new contract. Yeah. You were going to say something there, Danny. Go for it.
Yeah, I think I'll go back to what I said in our Facebook message group with Michael Tyson.
I saw that,
the other day. Mm-hmm. The Liverpool job is it's a very, very special job, and
yeah, it is.
It kills me to say that, but it really is. It's a really special job, and if you look at the managers there that have had the most success, they've been really, really passionate people, really passionate fans of the football club as well, and Klopp's come in and obviously very passionate, compassionate, connected with the fans, real strong connection with them. So Jose Mourinho, Zinedine Zidane, and Roberto De Zerbi, I don't think so. Alonso played for the club, but towards the end of his career, almost like Thiago Almeida came in from Barca, same thing. If Gerrard was still at Rangers now and winning trophy after trophy after trophy,
yeah,
I would definitely say yes. I would definitely say yes. And to be honest with you, I don't think he played that bad football at Villa. It just ran him into the ground.
But did that not show that he is not qualified to be a Premiership manager? And a lot of people don't understand that after taking the job at Villa, he actually did fairly well for a couple of weeks, but then, or a couple of months, excuse me, then his right-hand man, Michael Beale, left to be his own manager at
He went to Queen's Park Rangers.
Queen's Park Rangers, that's it. Yeah, so, and after he left, after Michael Beale left, the Villa just went downhill. It just went downhill. Now, not to get off path here, but Unai Emery's come in and taken over almost the exact same squad and transformed those players into world beaters. Gerrard had that same squad and couldn't get anything out of it.
Gerrard's gone off to Saudi Arabia, and he brought the Liverpool captain with him, and obviously the Liverpool captain's now at Ajax.
Jordan Henderson decided F this. Al-Ati I'm out of this.
Yes.
Obviously didn't go very well, did it? So it'd be an interesting one. Me personally.
Yeah, who do you feel is going to be?
Me personally, I think they'll probably take a chance on Xabi Alonso.
I think they have to.
I think
that contact's been made, don't you?
I think that when Klopp said in his press conference the other day, like, you're going to have a hand in this, like, are you going to speak to the board and all that sort of stuff? And he went, no. I went, yeah, I think you probably turned around and said, look, he's got the stature and he's got this and he's got that.
He probably left them with 3 names, and they're probably interviewed 3 people.
Probably, I would. My money's on Xabi Alonso. My money's on Xabi Alonso because I thought that Alonso would have gone to Real Madrid, but looks like Ancelotti's going to be staying now, and if they get Mbappe, they're going to be rock solid for the next few years. So
you've got to think that he is staying because he can see an Mbappe coming or something like that.
But the biggest question mark here, right, to me is this, right? And we'll go back to it in a little bit, but there's one of the biggest institutions of football is going to also be without a manager in June, and Jurgen Klopp is leaving.
Yeah.
And if you're the Barcelona president, you're going, holy shitballs, he's leaving. What can I do to get him here?
Do you have the money to buy him?
Look what he's done in the last 3 clubs he's been. Absolutely, Danny. Now, it's interesting that his wording was, I don't have any plans for next year. I plan on actually just not coaching for a year.
He's not going to Barcelona.
I don't know. I don't know.
Danny.
It's weird the timing, is it not?
It's just
Friday, Jurgen Klopp says he's not coming back.
It's coincidence, Craig.
Saturday, Xavi says I'm leaving in the summer. And Barcelona are notorious for throwing money at players and managers and bad ideas. But it's interesting timing. Danny, you bring up an interesting point there, my friend.
It's the timing of it's interesting. The sabbatical is interesting.
Yeah.
But the sabbatical also relates to the fact that isn't Nagelsmann's just taking the Euros, right?
What's come out now is that, yes, he signed a short-term contract to go through, but I think he was hoping to parlay that into a longer contract. But I think he obviously will be there through the Euros. And I think depending on how they do is if he gets another contract. And if he don't do good, you out later. See ya. Here comes maybe Jurgen.
I almost thought that Jurgen Klopp would, obviously with him being at Dortmund and Mainz and then obviously Liverpool, and he's done very well everywhere he's gone. I thought national team is he's destined to end up at the national team. Yeah. Just like when Pep's done with City, I think he'll go to Spain.
Yeah,
he'll go and manage the national team. I think Mourinho now, having done the circle of European clubs that he's going to, I think he'll end up the Portugal manager. It's just a natural transition. Although I do think that Southgate should get the bump and bring in Mourinho for Euros, and we'll probably win it.
I think anybody other than Southgate, by the way. But yes, you're right.
But yeah,
I still think Berhalter fails at Copa America. Klopp should come on over, but that's just me.
Next, you're going to tell me that Klopp should bring Thierry Henry with him.
Yes, and Patrick Vieira be a great staff.
Can we cut his mic off, Danny?
I don't have the button, but you speak some absolute drivel.
He's got the button to cut mics off. So I don't know how we do this. Jurgen Klopp as the U.S. manager. Oh my word!
Or Jose. I'd say Mourinho.
I've actually missed taking the piss out of you for a little bit. So that was So you put that in the group chat the other day, didn't I?
I did. But Nate actually brought up a good one. I think we've all kind of considered that German national team, since we said short term for Nagelsmann, the contract.
Yes.
Maybe that's just kind of how it lines up. Yeah. I think De Zerbi goes to Barcelona. I think Xabi Alonso goes to Liverpool. That's what I think.
The rumor is at Barca, so as we just mentioned there, Xavi, has the former player at Barca, has now said he is done. He's been under pressure for the last several months. Some poor results have happened. Every time they lose, there's pressure on him. The players, it's come out that the players are asking Barcelona that they want Luis Enrique to be the next manager. So we'll see if that happens. Former player, former manager there as well.
Is he still at
Or-
PSG?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's unpack this peccadillos for a second.
Uh-oh.
That's another English term for you there, Brooks. Peccadillos.
Huh.
Let's unpack this peccadillos for a second. 115 charges,
Yep.
relegation. Pep's without a club. Where's he go?
Barcelona?
To Barca.
Back to Barca.